Culiacan, a city like many other Mexican cities, is used to bloody battles with innocent victims guilty of nothing but being at the site of the battle by chance. The never-ending battle between the drug industry and trafficking gangs, the Mexican government. Here, in Culiacan, the biggest battle was in last October, when the authorities arrested a key figure in the drug world named Ovidio Guzman Lopez, one of the sons of the famous El Chapo, the leader of the Sinaloa cartel. The arrest of the son did not last long, as the authorities had to release him, fearing of more violence by his supporters in the city, in which civilians are killed, and after his supporters attacked a prison and released its prisoners in protest against Lopez's arrest. Simply, the gang members feel victory over the authorities and their ability to twist the arm of the law. They feel they are the strongest. In 2016, the International Institute for Strategic Studies surprised the whole world with a study that concluded that Mexico ranks second among the deadliest countries in the world after Syria. While the number of war victims in Syria reached 60,000, during the 2016, according to the study, the number of murder victims in drug cartel cases in Mexico reached 23,000. This number refers to more than just organized murders. They are major military organizations involving the most powerful types of weapons, owned by gangs with fighters and militia formations that are stronger than the regular army in their country. Perhaps the example of releasing Ovidio Lopez attests to this particular point. Since the 70s of the last century, Mexico's drugs issue like a real war, and the government's plans in Mexico began to focus on how to address the problem of drugs gangs, from governments that preferred peaceful negotiation and perhaps covert alliance with the gangs at times, to governments that declared war against those gangs, the war that always ended with thousands of victims without actually getting rid of those gangs. As for the northern neighbor, the United States of America was a permanent partner in that war, given the fact that it was always a direct victim of these gangs historically. Even the USA is usually the real market for these gangs more than Mexico or the other neighboring countries in Central and South America. The Sinaloa Cartel, a name the two American continents know well, is the name of one of the most powerful drug trafficking gangs in the world, and the largest organized crime gang in Mexico. Founded in 1988 by an initiative from a group of Mexican drug traffickers, including the later leader of the gang, Joaquin Guzman, known as El Chapo. It has been active in several fields, including organized crime and money laundering. Certainly, their most important activities are drug trafficking. Sinaloa is active in an area known as the Golden Triangle, which is the Sinaloa, Durango, and Chihuahua regions of Mexico, known to be the main producer of Mexican opium and marijuana. The gang posed more danger in the United States than it posed in Mexico, especially in the 1990s, as its work focused on smuggling drugs to North America. In the year 2008, the Attorney General of the United States confirmed that the Sinaloa gang was responsible for the introduction of 180 tons of cocaine between the years of 1990 and 2008, while the gang sold 1,200 tons of cocaine during 25 years to different parts of the world. The gang was the largest supplier of illegal fentanyl in North America and the main suppliers of heroin, methamphetamine, marijuana, and ecstasy. Many names shone in the Mexican gangsters' world and in the Sinaloa cartel itself, but El Chapo was one of the most important, if not the most important ever. His life history and his escape from prison whenever he was arrested was an inspiration to film and television directors. El Chapo ranked many in the world of justice and crime, as the US Treasury Department classified him as the most powerful drug trafficker in the world, and Forbes magazine classified him as one of the most powerful figures in the world, and even the second most powerful figure in Mexico, after billionaire Carlos Slim, while the US federal government defined him as the most cruel and dangerous person on the planet. The DEA designated him as the godfather of the drug world and said that he equated Pablo Escobar with outreach and influence. To a poor family, Joaquin Guzman Loera, named El Chapo, was born in the year 1957 in the province of Sinaloa, and early in the world of drug trafficking that was widespread in his hometown, to become a famous gang leader and to establish the Sinaloa cartel with his friends. He was arrested several times, the first in the year 93 in Guatemala, where he was sentenced to 20 years in prison. But he was able to bribe his jailers and escape in the year 2001, and the second escape was in the year 2014. He escaped in the same year through a court plan he devised with his sons, who bought real estate near the Altiplano prison, which was highly guarded in Mexico. They smuggled a GPS watch to their father, then dug a tunnel about 1.5 kilometers long, where El Chapo has escaped through it. The United States offered 5 million euros to those who provided information leading to his arrest, and Mexico offered 60 million pesos to those who assisted in his arrest as well. The Mexican Marines and federal police arrested him at the beginning of 2016 after a long chase, which was considered as one of the most complex chases in history. Eventually, he was extradited to the United States on January 19, 2017. It was said at the time of his arrest that the meeting he did with the American actor Sean Bean in a forested area, which was arranged by the Mexican actress Kate de Castillo, helped to find El Chapo's place and arrest him. In this meeting, which lasted about 7 hours, El Chapo challenged the government of Mexico and said that he has planes, submarines, trucks, and boats, and has boasted of being the world's leading supplier of heroin, methamphetamine, cocaine, and marijuana. After the arrest of El Chapo, the business of the Sinaloa cartel did not calm down as his sons continued to run it. And perhaps today it is stronger than it was, and the scenes of the great battle that the gang waged to release the son of El Chapo is evidence that the gang is in a position that may be stronger than it was. Between 2006 and 2010, more than 30,000 people were killed in the war against drugs in Mexico, among them civilians, soldiers, politicians, security men, and smugglers. At a time when the number of victims appeared to be large in the battles against drugs, another side of the victims appears that is not clearly announced. In most countries, they are victims of abuse and overdose. In the year of 2016, 65,000 drug users died in the United States of America alone under the influence of overdoses, while the number of deaths reached 500,000 between the years 2010 and 2014. Young students, unemployed youth, professionals, artists, and stars died overdosed at a desperate or bleak stage of their lives, from Elvis Presley to Amy Winehouse, and from Kurt Cobain to Heath Ledger. The heroin injections were bullets directly into the heart.